is up, buds? Welcome to WeeD&D, the pot-positive live tabletop role-playing experience. I am your dungeon master for the night, Brandon Allen McClenahan, but my buds call me Bam. Holy crap, dudes, here we are 1 year later. 420, my absolute favorite holiday, probably the one I celebrate the most, if I'm being honest. But holy crap, how has it been a year already? Time flies when you're having the most fun you've ever had in your life with all of your favorite people in the world. So, holy crap, buds. Thanks so much to all of you that have supported this along the way, that just make it out here, throw us up, get those numbers boosted, and just freaking, hey, man, like, give a little of your time to this little piece of magic that means so much to everybody involved. I have to stop just briefly and thank everybody that works so hard on this project. Right now, specifically, Stephanie, Sean, Vlad, Sandy, Ed, guys who do a lot behind the scenes. When we first started the show, Isaac Sita was our technical director, and he did a fucking phenomenal job. And so it's like all these people that put just tons of work. I can't even describe how much work, out of love, but it is a lot of work, goes into this thing. And it just means the world to us that you guys have hung with us for a year. And honestly, if you ask me, man, we're just getting started. We got all kinds of fun stuff coming up. We did have ourselves a little smoke out all day today. We did the 4/4/20s 420 stream. If you didn't get a chance to hang out with us because you work, because it's a freaking Tuesday, we will be dropping that over onto youtube.com. I've been smoking a lot today. youtube.com/arthardstudios, where you can find our entire library, the entire first, or season 0 is what we call it, the prologue to Ganjaria up to this point so far. We're doing map creations. We've got some exciting stuff coming on the channel. Our man Vlad, who does so much of the art, this table just covered in beautiful art. All of this done by Vlad. We're going to be doing a little art stream with him starting pretty soon, the Creation Station. Keep your eyes out for that kind of fun stuff. And lastly, we're doing some giveaways here tonight. You know, it's we can't get, I couldn't possibly give you guys back what I have gotten from this. And so I just figure at the very least have some fun stuff out there that maybe, just pay a little bit back to the people who've been with us for so long, or our new buds who are just as amazing. Like, if you're just meeting us now, check this community out. These people are freaking amazing. I absolutely love everything about this project. So thank you guys so much. 1 year. I'm high. I'm not going to get all emotional and start pontificating now. But again, we're doing 2 giveaways tonight. We're going to do this first giveaway right now. If you type hashtag WeeDnD in chat, it'll make you eligible for a D&D Beyond copy of Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, one of the new really awesome books that has come out recently that has all kinds of new awesome character creation stuff in it. It's really fantastic. If you enter hashtag WeeDnD right now, it'll make you eligible for the drawing. We'll do the first drawing right around intermission. And then in the second half, we're going to be giving away a $50 Amazon gift card. So that you can then go spend on dice or D&D books, because let's be honest, that's where all the money goes. So thank you guys so much. I could go on all freaking night just about how much this project has evolved and how all the people in it are so important to me and everything. But God, if I do that, we will never get to the very best part of this show. And that is the wonderful cast of WeeD&D. And I got a little question for my cast tonight. I'm going to pass this joint over to my girl Brenna here in a second. But I would like to know, guys, what's your favorite memory? No stress, just whatever pops to mind. Let us know what your favorite memory of the last year is. Be it from your character, from the show, whatever. Just, let's share that. So I'm going to pass this joint through the magical fibers of the internet to my dear and wonderful friend, Brenna. Hey, Brenna, how you doing?
Oh, Bam, I am doing great. As he said, I am Brenna Folger. You guys know me as Brunor, the sea serpent, the serpent sail. We've been smoking all day. The serpent slayer, royal blood. I'm a level 8 cavalier, so you know me. I'm riding Brian all day long, doing sick kickflips and all that goodness. I'm a sea elf, so that's probably why I talk like this, because this is just how we talk. And you know what my favorite memory has been? It was when Divit opened the lightning bottle. Divot the lightning, yeah, that was like a first moment for me where I was like, ooh, this is gonna be so much fun. That was my, yeah. He's like, don't open it. He's like, open it? And he opens it, and then he became Divit the lightning dodger. Abby, how about you, my dear, my darling, my love?
Ooh, thank you so much. Yeah, wow. There's been so many great and amazing moments. But, I'm Abby Dandy. I play Tina Smooth Hands. I'm a halfling cleric, level 8 halfling cleric, just like sending that good energy out. But these buds have been giving me all this good energy back all year. I can't believe it's been 1 year. It's absolutely insane. But you know what? Time flies when you're playing D&D and smoking weed with your friends. But thinking about like a favorite moment, I mean, there's so many, but the first one that comes to mind is when we had our old hoopty cart, right? And we were trying to get Brian into it. And we like lubed him up and shoved him. Oh man. Oh, that was just, I'm glad he fit. Yeah, but what about you, Droopy? What do you got for us?
Oh, thanks, baby girl. What up, y'all? Drew. I play Thoricus the Dwarf. Thoricus Onyxheart. General of the Stone Reavers. You damn right. Oh yeah, Gus knows. I am a level 8 battle master. Badass on the fucking battlefield. Getting it done, son. Papa knows how to party. Put him up. Let's see. My favorite thing so far, I guess, moment. God, I mean, I really didn't have to say much, but me and best friend made a real connection there, and attuned to the sending stones, and had a real good fucking time. And that's why you my best friend. Airdropping coming to you. Did you get it?
Hang on. I think it's stuck.
Oh wait, we got stuck. You got it?
Yeah. That did the trick. Hey, thanks, best friend. And thanks, buds, for joining us for 1 year of WeeDnD. Man, I'm Jake Taylor, and just every time we get to do this, it's just such a highlight of my entire week. I love it. I love you all. I love playing Rial Othervon. He's a level 8 high elf. He is an arcane trickster rogue. Quite the tricky fellow. And yeah, favorite memory. Well, favorite moment. It's really tough, but just with Bam's amazing descriptive abilities, the image of just that flopping, scaling dragon phallus being snapped up by Brian the then crocodile, that was like reading just like the novel came to life. It was beautiful. But yes, I'm so excited to play tonight, and we can't do that without my man, Gus Langley. What's going on, brother?
Yo, appreciate it, Jake. Like you said, I am your boy, Gus. Two Blunts Langley, playing Divit the lightning dodger. Divit is a revenant dick smuggler. He's half warlock, half fucking bard, and he's here to party. I'm so happy to be here with all of you guys. Everybody, you could be anywhere in the world, but you're hanging out here with us, and that's really fucking cool of you. Wouldn't trade it for anything. My favorite moment is when that hag tried to blow me. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should go check it out. Yo, I'm gonna send this train on over to Bam.
Oh, makes it back 1 year, and we haven't lost one to the internet yet, my friends. It's not fair for me to ask you guys and not give you my favorite moment as well. But I am going to cheat. My favorite part of this process over the last year has been getting together with these 5 incredible human beings every single week. Our friendship over this past year has been my rock through this entire experience, and I think this show kind of ended up way more than any of us thought that it was going to mean to us when we started it. And my absolute favorite moment is the very first second of the very first episode, because it had been this idea we cooked together for years, literally, at that point. And when cameras started going and we started the stream, it was like, here we fucking go, man. And here we are. Like a year later, the adventure is still going. It's just fucking A, man. I'm getting all emotional. So I'm gonna jump to the little ritual that we have around here. Maybe you've heard about it, maybe you haven't, but we like to take a lighter, like this little black guy I've got right here. Make sure we're not gonna light any of our friends, family, or household pets on fire, and go. Lighters up. Let's play some fucking D&D, guys.
Weed&D, high fantasy, literally for you and me. So load up bowl and make a roll to take control. Weed&D.
Oh my. Oh, 1 year, that theme song still gets me pumped every single time. Huge shout out to the man who does all the original music that you have heard over the past year. The guy has created dozens of amazing original pieces of beautiful music for us. Huge shout out, Sandy Stein. We freaking love you, man. The show would not be the same without you, and none of us forget it. So, all right, let me get I'm getting all emotional, guys. It's all the weed. It's all the weed, and it's been a year, and I'm just, I love it. The buds. All right, guys. For 1 year, if you will please allow me to set the mood. When last we left the Ferocious Five, all save Divit stood within the Fey-Tainted caves within the Malachite Mountains. A fearsome battle took place between the heroes of the Shekinda prophecy and the corrupted agents of the sinister Queen Mab. Divit, seeing an opportunity to use the flowing mists of the Feywild to bolster his magics, was unintentionally pulled into a pocket plane by the essence of Glacious The Iceblight. A truly epic battle unraveled between the two, while the rest of the five attempted to free the souls contained within the blood-leeching crystals. Brian the Dracodile nearly fell to the magical energies bent by the strange emerald-skinned goblins, while Thoricus, Brunor, Rial, and Tinna managed to dispatch the vicious abominations that would see them to their end. During the battle, they managed to free the remaining goblins of Boxo's search party, as well as the unremarkable child, Esmeralda. At the apex of the battle with the Iceblight, Divit channeled all of the excess magic around him to trap the spirit of Glacious within the staff of the Raka. All right, guys, we jump back in. Divot. The dark void all around you stands eerily silent. As you watch the fractured images of yourself extending through the various dimensions that all reach together to bring the spearhead or the staff head to one point. And that point, the blue life essence of Glacious the Iceblight. You see the channeling magics held within the staff as the great powerful spirit held within attempts to burst from its prison. You see shocks, little sheet bursts of ice that cast into the air. You hear the sprinkle of ice itself. The staff, as you hold it, the wooden staff, now cold to the touch. You realize, even though you don't breathe, that as you open your mouth, small breaths of fog are coming out. You look down. Everything is eerily still. Except for behind you. You feel that warm, glowing energy of your sister reaching across the plain. The healing magics of Tinna Smoothhands that managed to reach all the way between the Malachite Mountains and the faraway pocket plane that you were. You feel that portal behind you. You feel safe, Divit. You know, like you did before the confrontation, you could leave at any time. You look down and hold the staff. The ice bolts from within slashing against the edge. And finally, the spirit within stops fighting. You see the staff head glow blue. Divit, you have me. I am at your will. You see a burst of ice as he attempts to rush, hoping that the conversation maybe had distracted you. To no avail. But I will be free. You cannot contain me within this relic forever.
I'm counting on that.
You wish to contain the might of Glacious the Iceblight. Are you foolish? You think you alone could do so with this piece of wood?
That wood's got more character than you ice cube.
It gets a little cold from the sick burn.
Crushed it.
You hear a sound like a faint blowing wind from within the staff as you have this telepathic communication between your mind and this orb. You hear the blowing wind of the snow. Let us make a deal, Divit. I know things, answers, truths that escape you even now. I know all the players. I know all the moves. I know the reason you act even now.
Fully understanding how powerful this guy is and that I'm way punching above my weight class, I'm like, yeah, okay, guy who just got beat by me. Like, total false bravado.
You are not wrong, Divit. You have me now. But for how long? The truth I offer you is priceless. It is timeless. What you hold in your hand now is ephemeral. It will not last. Free me, Divit, and I shall tell you everything you want to know.
I have a proposition for you. If I free you, which I don't have to do, you have to promise on everything that's important to you to leave my friends alone. And I'll also leave you with these words. She does not own you. You can be your own ice monster.
Another silence from within the staff as the blue light softly pulses. My queen would be mad with me, Divit. I have failed her. I have no intention of seeing my punishment at the hands of the Queen of Ice and Shadow. I will go away. I will go to the Frostfell, the plane of ice itself, and you will never hear of me again. This is what I offer in exchange for my truth.
Medusa.
You hear a cough from a cave far away.
Alright, yeah, I'm just gonna flip a coin. Alright. Alright, so I'm in a last unicorn situation. I don't know if I can trust this guy, but it's a sin for something this beautiful and this something that's really this magical to be locked up. And I proved to him that I can do it, and he knows that I can do it again. And I'm like, alright, you owe me one. Be sure and tell your friends. And I break the
All right,
pot
you
open.
You see suddenly all of you standing in the cave inside the Malachite Mountains, watching kind of like a light impression of this exchange. You see the shimmering outline of Divit in the purple waterfall, with waters that fall about half the speed of normal water. You see, the outline of Divit holding up this staff with a shining blue light on the tip, the same light that you know to be bonded with the life force of Glacious. You see him for a moment holding this, the conversation going between his mind and the staff, unheard by your ears. And suddenly you see Divit take the staff and strike it down. Divit, you find the will of your spirit forces, as you're kind of floating in this void of nothing, the ground that you need to be there is suddenly there. Again, you have kind of a strange control of this weird pocket dimension within the Feywild. And as you swing, this magical staff, the coarse magic of almost the ancient magic itself, magic with a K, that courses through your hands for a moment, this relic in your hands, truly powerful. And you, choosing to side with the essence of the life force within, shatter the staff. You see the head, the bulbous head where the beads of the Raka once shook around. It just shatters and blows out like the top of a skull that you've now seen many times. And with it, you see the blue glowing light of Glacious float out in front of you. It pulses in front of you. Shall we? And you see this little blue soft light of it starts floating back toward the waterfall behind you.
And I try to float like him, but probably I can't.
No, actually, again, Divit, you find it's this strange, place. Whereas you, just like with the staff, as you imagine, you were doing these things far beyond your capabilities in this place, and it seemed like as your mind called them to action, they were forming around you, just like the ground you needed when the staff broke. Just like the images of yourself replicated, and you were able to teleport between them. And so, as you kind of will your own movement, you turn around. Now you don't, the form, the icy body of Glacious itself is no longer there. You just see the floating blue pulsing light. You don't sense the same anger that you have as you've dealt with this thing before. At least currently no signs of any treachery or the like. And as it finally stops, kind of allowing you to lead the way, it stops before the precipice of this portal that links wherever this place is and this strange waterfall in the Malachite Mountains. Do you want to go? Do you want to have him go first? Do you go first? What do you want to do?
I just want to whisper to him that he is a stone cold, valiant warrior, and he need not be embarrassed. And we don't have to discuss this in front of anybody. And then gesture towards the portal.
I like that. Appealing to the warrior spirit within. Harking on it again for the second time, too. You sense there is, again, Divit, you communicate telepathically, and so there's a certain level of empathy that occurs as well, where you kind of pick up on the emotions of the people you're talking to as well. And, although the orb stays silent and simply glows, you feel a sense of gratitude kind of wash over your body, being sent from within this orb. So yeah, he's like, he doesn't seem eager to talk about the battle either. So with that, he starts floating, through the portal. We jump back to the Malachite Mountains. Tenna, Rial, Brunor, and Thoricus, you're all still standing around kind of the savage aftermath of this battle with these giant spiders, emerald skin goblins, phased giant spiders, and phased rider battle that you just ended. You still see kind of the burned remnants of what's left of the strange electric blue spider webs, small bits of them still stuck to the remaining crystal. The crystal formation itself at this point, which once stood, 25 feet tall and spread across the room, has now kind of blown, through the use of all the blood and everything that you guys have fed it. There's a huge hole punched in it now. The main crystal that Esmeralda and the goblin with the third leg are in is kind of tilted to the side here in the middle. That's kind of what you're seeing represented there. Most of the rest of the crystals have been destroyed, and you see kind of the small threads of these purple and white magical crystals on the ground. The smell of cinnamon no longer quite as pungent. It seems as these crystals disappear, so too does the waves of that smell of cinnamon, that ripe, crisp taste of the Feywild. And now you're starting to pick up the smell of humidity. this magical water, still water nevertheless. There's a humidity in the air and the moss and the mud on your boots. Again, where you felt like you were kind of in between a wild, crazy world and a normal world. The normal world is kind of starting to come back as the smells of the prime material plane return. You still see, the purple pools of water, the waterfall still falling, but all of you, kind of in a moment after seeing the big blast of the crystal, you see Divit, the water kind of parting around him, not really spilling over his body, but just bending to allow him to walk out. And beside him, the glowing blue orb of Glacious. What do you do?
I'm checking out Brian. I'm checking out the Brian man right after the fight, just making sure that he's okay. It got really scary for him, It was a real scary situation. He got down to 1, but luckily Tina and everyone's been helping him out. Tina helped him out and he's in a good position now, but I'm giving him a good look over, and then I kind of am peeking underneath him, and that's when I see 2 footprints, like 2 feet coming out of the waterfall, and I'm like, hell yeah, my buddy Divit fucking kicked his ass. And so when I get up after looking underneath Brian and checking out his under chassis, I see Divit with this blue glowy orby guy, and I definitely pull my sword and shield up because I'm here to make sure everything's okay.
All right, you kind of instinctually, knowing Brian to be a little wounded in this moment, rather than standing next to him like you would, you kind of set your shield in front of him, you kind of take the point and put yourself, between Divit and everybody else. Your guard up, Divit, you walk back through. You feel, again, like you're walking through a pool of jello for a moment, as your body transfers between one place and the other place. You feel that strange rearranging of the things that make you up as you travel some unknown distance betwixt where you were and where you are. You see the shimmering lights piercing through the cracks in the tops of the ever-shifting Malachite Mountains. These beams of light that reflect in various colors as they shine off of the purple and silver water, the shifting green stone walls, the electric blue spider webs, now empty, that still hang in some of the corners of the room. A vibrant, colorful place. But as you walk into it, you not able to see what had transpired in the same way. As you walk through, you witness the aftermath of quite a large battle. All the spider webs melted away, the 2 giant spiders and the goblins that rode them now dead, one of them no longer attached to the spider. You see a giant, that mutated purple and blue giant phase spider, and then in the corner, the fallen, slain body of the blue and white crystalline Drider. Her frame just kind of hunched over, some burns and stuff on her. The web that was once there now burned entirely to ash. And you see like a broken lantern laying on the ground, just some pieces of broken glass. But yeah, so you guys, you all kind of lay eyes on each other. Divit, you just kind of walk out of the waterfall, and you see Brunor quick to put her guard up.
As he sees that, because I'm kind of on more of the westernmost part of where I ended up, I'm going to kind of cross over to Tina and Thoricus and Brunor, but that crosses right by Divit, so I see him coming out. And after the blood sacrifice, given all that Fey magic, I feel a little of that tea party syndrome. Just enough to but I want to walk by Divit, noticing him coming out.
Yeah.
We didn't save you one. And then continue my path.
You see a wild-eyed Rial, kind of throw that at you, Divit.
I think the idea of them not saving me one is hilarious. I don't tell them about fighting Glacious.
Yeah. All right, so you step in, Divit, you're about up to your knees deep in this purple pool of water. You still see the silver wisps of Fey magic within. You too, even though you don't need to breathe, you are aware of the odor in the air, the smell of cinnamon now half dwindled. You see, Divit, the 2 of the 3 goblins are still kind of like half rooted in crystals up to their waist. The far left and the middle one there. The farthest right goblin you see has kind of like fallen out of the crystal structure entirely and is just kind of like dusting himself off, muttering and goblin to himself, kind of looking around like a little overwhelmed and amazed at what's going on. Rial, as you kind of like chuckle to Divit, you look over your right shoulder and you see Esmeralda. You know, her unremarkable face, unstriking. Some of the crystal has broken. Her mouth is exposed, part of her nose is exposed, but the purple crystal covers over most of her face. You know, a little bit of her upper body is now exposed as well. You see frozen in the crystal, her 2 piercing blue Alec Baldwin eyes, you know, piercing through the purple crystal that it's contained with. They sit unblinking, just staring straight forward. You know, no sign of motion. Her mouth does not move. It barely, you know, you see the lips barely parsing enough to let her breathe. But you see she is not just kind of sitting there almost as if comatose with her eyes open. But yeah, that's kind of an update on the room.
Divit, tell me what's going on here. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just needed a cold one.
You hear Glacious kind of laughs. The blue orb glows a little.
Do we hear that laugh?
Yeah, you guys hear it.
So I get
We all chuckle along.
yeah.
So other than Esmeralda, are the goblins still like in the crystal? At
Yeah,
all?
2 of them are still. So there's like most of this crystal structure is gone. Basically, at this point, there's only 2 main stalks of it that remain. One of them is kind of half rooted around the waist of the farthest left goblin here on the west, you know, the middle west side of the room. The central stalk, like I said, that has like part of Esmeralda exposed and the upper half of the middle goblin exposed here in the center. That's kind of the main stalk that's like fallen down from that huge hole being punched out of it. But yeah, they're still in there. They're not like screaming out in agony or anything. So the blood sucking, you would assume at this point has halted. But you just hear them kind of cursing in goblin.
Cool. Can I get on Brian and like ride him like a skateboard, like and like grind down one of the crystals, like down? Oh no, I don't want him to touch any of the crystals. Those crystals are bad.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just
go
want
ahead.
to do a kick. I just want to do an awesome kickflip over. Or a 360, and I'm gonna hold his nose. It'll be amazing. But I'm gonna do like a 360 over the crystals and land on the other side, like over here.
All right, dope.
Hell
So
yeah.
yeah, you kind of, take a sec to look over the situation. You don't want to get too close to the crystals, so going over the top of it to take a peek down. You do notice, like I said, the main central, whereas before it was kind of like a hand of playing cards, there was a main central, massive crystal and these 5 arcing crystals sticking out. Now it's kind of shattered in on itself, and only the 2 central stalks kind of remain. Unlike before, if you'll recall, when you broke the first crystal in the caves leading to here, you could see them starting to reroot themselves, where they were trying to feed off of the life in the ground around them and stuff, and their growth was stinted. You don't see that same, you don't see those little tendrils snapping out of it anymore. It seems like the Iceblight not being, infused with this has taken away some of that ability. So the crystals are still there, but they don't seem to be feeding on them anymore, so... you guys could probably bust them out, or any of those options are at your disposal.
Guys, it feels a little bit like we may have helped get rid of some of that taint. We may have nipped some of that taint in the bud. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Really not smelling like taint in here anymore.
No, it's very fresh. Very fresh.
So cool. I guess we can start getting those goblins out of there without.
Yeah, pretty much. So you guys are pretty beat up too. I'm just kind of like your area right now. You hear the shifting stone, the lungs, still blowing kind of that breath down the hallway. But you're kind of like looking around at these spiders. You don't see any immediate threats in the area or anything. So like right now, I would say we're kind of out of an encounter, so to speak. Feel free to move around the room as you like.
I take in the surroundings, and I'm really luxuriating in the return to naturalness and like the lushness and the humidity in the area, and it feels safe. Friends, we're worse for the wear. Should we try to camp up or something?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Breakfast sounds fantastic. Thank you for offering. But I think that we should try to get the rest of these goblins out, and then whatever that thing also that's in the crystal that I just don't know.
I got an idea.
What's up?
Hey, G. And I look over at the orb.
Yes,
How about you let them out?
You see the blue glowing light starts moving forward, and Brunor, you're kind of like standing there as your feet look at the ground, these white and purple veins across the ground. And as the ball starts like moving closer to the crystal, you see a couple of the tendrils like... And, but it's like they're moving and they're wiggling a little bit as the orb starts getting closer. It's like...
Not for daddy.
So you see as the orb just kind of like nears the crystal, again, that you hear that vibrating within that, like you heard when it was being fed with the magic from the goblins. You see the crystals all start to shake violently. The purple light starts to get brighter and brighter as the orb just glows over the top of it. Finally, there's like a flash of purple light. And the little blue orb is now a little tiny 3-foot-tall version of Glacious the Iceblight. You see, it's like the crystal has just kind of formed. It melts away, revealing the bodies of the other goblins, now safely out. You see Esmeralda herself just kind of slowly, as the crystal basically like vibrates away, she's just kind of set, and she's just laying in the moss and the mud, staring forward, still unblinking, still with her blue eyes. And you see as this little tiny 3-foot-tall version of Glacious the Iceblight forms from the magic. You hear, "Oh, that's better. Yeah, wait. Oh, wait, what? Is this what my voice sounds like now? Oh, gosh." And you see he kind of starts stamping around, and he's like, and then he walks over and he lets the waterfall kind of wash over him, and it melts the ice body away from him once more. And you see just floating there one more time is the little blue glowing light.
Oh.
He didn't want to be tiny.
The best of you, man.
So
That's
yes.
a pretty cool little dude, though. Pretty cool little dude. Yeah.
So yeah, you see the magic kind of wash away the crystalline body. Again, I apologize. I can't actually change the map. But those crystals have actually washed away. And even the little tiny threads that you've noticed when you broke them before, you see that all melts away. And now just the stain, the unmoving, white veins of purple magic that just kind of lay now dead, like a dead animal. Just kind of, they stop moving, they stop shaking, they stop vibrating. You hear the goblins.
Thank you, sir. That was really polite.
It is not for you that I do this.
I didn't need to know that. That was kind of rude, but I don't care.
Thank you in return,
Yeah, I don't
probably,
care.
or you're
Take it.
welcome.
Just take it.
I mean, just
Jeez.
simple manners.
That is fine. I will accept it. Then not everyone on this, land was put on here to like me. I don't really care. I'm a prince.
Yeah, hey,
Yeah.
I'm literally a prince. I don't give a shit.
Divit, what's up with charm school over here? Seriously, like, fuck.
The prince?
Yeah. What? Yeah. Me? Yes. You right?
So I suppose that I inadvertently got them all released from the crystal, including the girl.
Correct. She is just, like I said, unmoving. You can she's the only way you know she's alive at all is just the slight raising and lowering of her chest. You see still just in that milquetoast outfit with that plain face and that hair that's just so forgettable. You see, plain Jane, non-backward neck snapping Esmeralda. The only remarkable feature about her piercing blue Alec Baldwin eyes. One of the jetting beams of light that falls through the cracks in the earth above just shines, and you just see you're like, oh God, so shiny blue. But the rest of her also, you're like, oh, so unremarkable, gosh. So yeah, she is now, they are all free of the crystal.
Okay.
Is there any crystal left, though?
No, all the crystal in this central chamber is now melted away.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I know it's stupid. I can't change it on the map. I could draw a square, but I don't want to blow your minds.
Just for story's sake.
But yes, at this point, I'm sorry if I didn't make that clear. At this point, yes. It's almost like we've been smoking weed all day. But yes, as that Glacious basically absorbed the life within the crystals, and now you're just kind of left. Those weird, strange veins and tendrils are still kind of rooted in that central area, but the crystals themselves have dissipated.
Okay, how's these goblins? How's this guy?
All right, so you go over to the far goblin on the left, and you see he's got this little this little jangly little wrist bracelet, kind of this little bronze charm that jangles as he moves it around, and he kind of looks up. You see he speaks in only goblin. So he's kind of like, and he puts his hands up to you as he's just like, again, the last thing he remembers was probably being thrown into this crystal, maybe by giant spiders. And so as he's looking around at the dead corpses and this giant Dracodile and you guys, he's very afraid.
Hold on. My friend can read minds. He can communicate. Hold on. So sorry.
Boxer sent us to help you.
You see, and then he's like, you hear back, are you talking in my mind?
Whoa.
Yeah, hello? Hello? And you see the little goblin like looking around, and he's like looking really intently. But Divit, you hear him responding in your mind. What do you say?
I in my head and visually also say yes, so that he can see it's me.
You see he locks eyes with you, takes a look at what you look like, and Divit, give me a charisma check here, because this is you're kind of an imposing sight, and if a questionably undead person started talking in my mind, I don't necessarily know that would abate my fears.
It's just me.
Okay, what did you say? Charisma saving throw?
Yeah, and just give me a charisma check. Just roll a d20 out of your charisma modifier.
Oh, word.
What did you say, Jake?
Oh, just Divot shows it. Don't you worry, I'm just Goblin Boogeyman. Here
I'm just your worst nightmare. That's all.
2.
So that's 6.
So yeah, you see suddenly that goblin like looks up at you, Bruno, and just kind of starts backing up a little bit. He's like, and he's rubbing his head, and then you hear from right in the center of where the main cluster was, you just hear like, oh, get it together, come on. Ugh. And you see the goblin that looks like he has 3 legs sits up, kind of dusts himself off. He's a little brash. He's like, you're an embarrassment, Jangle. And he looks around.
Jangle.
Looks up at you. Were you the ones that saved us?
Cha. Boxer sent us.
Bingo! Bingo! And you see another goblin, the one that was first all the way freed from the crystal, looks over at him, and he's like, help me out! Come on! And you see Bingo, like, gets up, walks over to him, like, offers him an arm, and then he just, like a tripod, is set forward. And you see this massive growth from his center mass. He's wearing these large fabric pants, and it's like the fabric length is nearly, if you had to guesstimate, we're talking like goblin ankle height. And you see as this massive form leans forward, he looks you right in the eyes, Bruno, and he goes, I'm Fuck. Nice to meet ya. And he sticks his little pointy goblin claws out at you, reaches out, to shake your hand.
Hell yeah! And then Bruno also, Predator style, continues, give him a good shake.
That always gives you +1 to handshakes. You see, she grabs you. What do you do? Gosh, I'll tell you.
What brings you guys here? What happened? How'd you get got?
This thing right here. And you see he kind of like walks over and is like leaning over the body of Esmeralda. Like he starts waving his little, green goblin hand over her eyes to see if she's responding at all. He's like, she was singing. We saw her. Heard something about some weird goblins in here. This is the girl, right? Does she sometimes walk on her back of her hands?
Oh, I've seen it. That shit fucking no.
I told you, Jangle, I told you.
It's terrible. You guys should, maybe it would be a good idea for them to take the Emerald Goblin bodies as well as Esmeralda back to Boxo and see what happens.
I agree.
Yeah,
that's
that's
what
a great
Box I sent him there for. Yeah.
Hey, they're the best goblins I've ever met. If anybody could figure out what to do with this girl, it'd be them, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe they can raise her for good.
Yeah, you know what? All the scary things in the world can't be bad.
You guys just don't want to, kill her?
Oh,
You just, kill her. She's not even moving. I mean,
So,
this
yeah.
would literally be the easiest time to do it.
You feel this kind of you know, the slow mist of the waterfall around you, the strange quietness of these shifting tunnels and everything. Suddenly it is kind of eerily quiet, and you just kind of like all look down, and she's just laid, wrists at her side, feet directly out in front of her, laying in her, milquetoast plain dress that she wears. Her eyes just glow shining, but, very little movement, no response.
I'm gonna speak to her. I'm right there between her and where fuck came out of the crystal. If I can ready throat fucker, just to kind of have that on hand.
Yeah, you with one hand, as you kind of lean forward, you slide your right hand behind you and kind of prep the throat fucker just in case. You see, as you move forward, she's still unresponsive.
Can
Can I? Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I'm just gonna ask. Yeah, can you hear me? Just to see if even those fucking eyes move at all. If we get
Yes,
anything.
I can. Yes, I can hear you. What's
Oh
up?
wait. Oh, sorry. Wrong. Oh.
No. Not me.
I might have to kill a kid. So take yours out for a minute.
No, I'm
Well,
good.
He likes
I can
that
listen.
kind of stuff. That sounds right.
I can listen.
Okay, cool. Then
Come
turn
on.
it up. Turn it up.
Turn
All
those
right.
shits up. Okay.
Rial, you speak. Can you hear me? And there's a brief moment. And then you see, again, if you recall, Rial, you were kind of her last guardian before, the events that transpired in the Dryad's cult, and then again in the Purified Garden. And you, as you ask, there's a soft silence for a moment, and then you see her hand, just by itself, reaches out. And she's kind of like reaching for you, but the only part of her body that's moving is the arm. And you see it grasping out toward you.
Is that you, Agatha? Can you hear me?
Agatha Christie.
I can always hear you, Rial.
What?
You hear the voice of Auntie Agatha Frogwort melt out of the mouth of Esmeralda.
All right, it's Rial's mom. It's dope. Hey.
Guys, don't talk about my mom.
I'm just.
I just wanted to kill her. That's it.
We just.
Yeah, I'm
That's all we
gonna.
wanted to do.
This is no ordinary child. I set that plain ass dress on fire.
Hell yeah.
She's no. Fool me once,
All right,
Shame on me.
Rial.
twice, 3 strikes.
Wait,
you're out.
shame on me.
They're like, huh?
Just all kinds of shame.
Yeah, I definitely turn around, ooh.
You see Rial as the one hand grasps out for you, almost separate from everything else in the body. You hear the light chuckle from within.
Can you do it, Rial?
I can.
Can you?
And in response, you bring your hand out and you cast the bonfire, near the body. It lights up on either side of the frame of the child. You see the hand still reaching out, the mouth unmoving, the voice of Auntie Agatha just escaping from within the lungs of the frame of this child, the blue, shining, piercing eyes. Suddenly, the fire starts to build. You see the fabric on her dress begins to burn, and for a moment you smell that searing smell of fire and flesh. And suddenly, as the smell of the cooked meat of the legs of this little child start going, the hand still grasping frenetically at you, the body eerily unmoving, you hear Agatha once more from within.
Is this who you are, Rial? I thought we'd taken the goodness out of cynicism.
The hand still grasping, the crackling fire ever burning. You see as the flames consume the center of the body of the child, suddenly the meat burning away, the skin, the flesh beginning to bubble as these third-degree burns start to cover the mass of this child's frame. The hand still frantically shooting out in front of you, grasping for your help. You hear the last scream of Auntie Agatha Frogwort.
You will never be rid of me, Rial. Or Ergon.
And in the last throes of this burning flame, you see this pink mist rise out of the chest of the child of Esmeralda and dissipate in the air. The arm still grasping, the blue eyes still unmoving. Until you hear the piercing cry of a child. The hand falls. The blue eyes consumed by flame. And the unremarkable child, Esmeralda, is no more. And that's where we're gonna pick it up after intermission, guys!
Oh my god.
Enter motherfucker.
Kidding me?
Woo! Woo, sorry guys. All right. I cannot wait to get back. Guys, we're going to do us, holy shit, 1 year. We're going to do us the drawing right now. We're going to be giving away that copy of Tasha's Cauldron of Everything to our first of our 2 lucky winners tonight. Remember, stick around for the second half. $50 Amazon gift card in the second half. We're going to be doing us a little battle royale here. Check out the intermission, all kinds of new wonderful stuff, and just incredible music from our man Sandy Stein. We'll be back in 10 minutes, guys, and holy crap, it's going to be crazy. Thanks for hanging with us.
Ooh. Sick burn.
If that's bad, you should see what he does to churches.
Little Elefunk is back. Oh man, he's been with us the whole time. I gotta say, I'm sorry, guys. When I was going over my notes for the fun 420 show, I didn't think about that we might burn a child to death. So I know that might not be the fun slaptastic time you came here for, but holy crap, we did. And guess what? We're gonna go back to that. We're gonna go back to that magic right now. Join me, because we're jumping back in.
Yeah, lighters up.
Lighters up.
Lighters up. Lighters up.
Lighters up.
Yeah, let's smoke these kids.
Lighters up.
Yes, you see a child's body smoking like a joint nearby. You know, you guys are still in the undulating stone caves of the Malachite Mountains. The green-colored stone rocks shift all around you. The flowing mist of purple fey magic still flowing and filling up these small bodies of water that kind of surround the room. You see the main center lake kind of flowing a little river all the way down to the southwest corner where it kind of pools up again. You know, the elephant in the room is the smoldering corpse of what was once the child Esmeralda from the town of Amarella. Yeah, I did that. You see, you know, now just kind of what remains, the charred flesh that still clings to the bones, now picked mostly clean by the heat of the fire. As the fire kind of dwindles out, you know, the cave, you still hear that breathing wind of the lungs from up the cavern, now seemingly lighter than before. Even now, a nice healthy breeze seems to flow down the cavern from where the lungs of the mountain were. You're still surrounded now by the corpse of this child, the corpses of the giant spiders, the giant phase spider and the giant drider in the corner. You know, you notice mistaking the chaos in the room surrounding you, the dead white and purple tendrils lying limp on the floor. Kind of a strange, ominous surrounding as just the silence of the flames finally giving the last of their light as they fade away. What do?
I see all the death surrounding us, and this. Is there a corpse left of the child?
There's like bone and like some spots that like the under part of the knee, I would imagine, is still mostly there.
Okay. I take in this horrible, gruesome scene, and I realize that it's my duty to return this child's natural form back into nature. So I approach the body and gather what I can, and I'd like to just place some earth over it, whatever natural materials I can quickly grab, just to lay the original soul to freedom.
So the spot immediately around where the crystals were is still kind of contaminated with a strange purple and white magic, but there is like a nice mossy mud area. And again, if you look down on the unremarkable skeleton of what appears to just be a normal child, the true nature of this creature, resonates within each of you. Although this sight is quite gruesome, this child was more than she appeared. And was very much contaminated by this darkness, seeded to her by Auntie Agatha Frogwort. And so although, yes, it is quite a sight to take in, and you feel the need to pay the proper respects, you also can't help but remember the visage of the neck snapped backwards, walking on her hind legs, the pure embodiment of evil that she had become, and the wild magics, the dangerous prophetic magics that she had at her disposal. Again, having painted several paintings that told tell of the future. So Tina, you kind of move over and take one of the little muddy, mossy areas and start kind of separating it to the side, making enough room to slide this skeleton in. You all see Tina, hunched over the skeleton frame, and she starts putting it into the mud.
I join her. I help.
Real, you go, you see the wrist kind of laying farther away from the rest of the body, the wrist that seemed to move with at least the last bit of the child that you once knew. You kind of see the wrist laying haphazard, and as she starts to drag the skeleton, it drags in the mud, and you instinctually step up, grab the bone and place it, across the girl's body. You guys slide the bones into the mud and start covering over the corpse.
You should plant a tree so they can't find the body.
Yes, plant a cave tree.
Something
Light
that
in here might
spreads.
do. There's some light. It could work.
I'll talk to the stone lung thingy over there. It'll be fine.
You see Fuck the goblin is standing there, and he's just kind of mortified at how cavalier you guys are in this moment. And as you guys are kind of talking your way through the situation, he's just kind of looking around, and you see he walks over to the other two goblins, who are both seemingly pretty bad shape, not particularly healthy. And he picks them up, and he looks around. He's like, I don't know much about you guys. You're powerful, you're strong, but you're pretty fucked up. And I gotta say, I like it. Cheers! And you see he reaches into the back pocket of one of the goblins, and he pulls out a little silver flask, and then he just bumps the goblin over. You see Jangle just kind of falls over into the mud, and just the one that was speaking in goblin. And you see he offers his flask up in the air, and he just kind of laughs. He's like, ha ha ha! You guys are fucking crazy, man. And he slugs back a drink.
That as an opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
You know what he's doing? He's joshing about. So I want to fucking. Who am I closest to? I'm next to Brian. I'm gonna josh about with Brian. I'm just gonna give him a little scrub on the top of the head. He's such a joshing boy. I'm giving him joshing. Hold on, let me roll.
Give me a Josh check. I gotta have a roll for Josh. Let's hold up. We gotta engage Josh mode. All right, Brunor, you start joshing. You see the solemn Tina Smoothhands and Real Athervon standing over the shallow grave of this poor child's frame, corrupted by magic. The goblin Fuck, offering you the drink kind of broke the bubble, the seal of tension around. And, you want to laugh through some of the more intense situations you've occurred. Just jump right in. You start a hefty Josh session. You guys can't help but feel the vigor as you see Brian himself, too, happy to have survived this epic battle, happy to be alive, even though all this other stuff, it's like this, if anything, is the resolution to a strange chapter of your guys' combined history. And you allow yourself, maybe with a little bit of what cinnamon is left in the air, to give in to some of your joshier instincts, and the joshing begins.
Yeah, I'm not gonna allow a child's funeral to prevent me from participating in a good josh. No. I catch on to the josh, and it's Josh mode central. Respectfully away from the body, of course.
Right. You're stepping on the skeletons, and you're just, you hear the bones snapping under. No. You stand a respectable distance away from a recently buried corpse to Josh. I'm gonna let's measure that at roughly 10 feet. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want the joshing getting on the corpse. But yeah, you guys, you see Brunor kind of jumping on Brian. Brian, again, happy to be alive to celebrate. He starts playing back with you, Brunor. He starts rubbing you with his big nose, and you see the goblins are just like looking around, except for Fuck. He's just loving it, just like, yeah, right. And that guy's here. Fuck.
I see the two goblins that aren't feeling it, and I walk up to them, and I want to use. I have 2 slots left for this spell level, and I want to healing word them, just noogies on their head, give it to joshing.
All right, you bring the powerful healing magic of Josh.
Yeah, and then I slap him up a little bit while I stare at Thorcus.
All right, yeah, give me 2 healing words, Divit.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
So one is medicine, and the other word is I can't believe I haven't made that joke for a whole year.
Man, I've played a lot of D&D, and I gotta admit, first time I've heard the actually giving me healing words. You guys are dope.
These jokes are dope.
These jokes are weed is tight. Weed is tight.
Weed is dope.
Yo, dope healing words, Divit. You see, you actually top off one of them, and the one that
And then I give him some help.
Divit, you fully top off Jangle. And then with what remains, you bring your joshing, your zest. Again, Divit, that laughter that has changed the mood in many a tense situation. You kind of bring the jollier side of your bardic energy, vast in this Feywild magic. You kind of instill them with some healing. You see they feel a little better. And it's like, man, if he's going to heal us, he's, that's the opposite of what everything else has been doing. So you see they kind of start just kind of laughing with you guys too a little bit. And they're all looking around. And then you see Fuck just goes, God, isn't it fucking beautiful to be alive? And he holds his drink up. And then he goes, oh, sorry. And he waves at the grave of the child nearby.
So I want to approach Fuck, and I would probably trip over the grave mound just a little bit.
You got a little of that little girl on your foot. There's a little bit there.
Gotta prestidigitation that off. But I do want to ask Fuck, are any of you able to take half another goblin? Just a half.
That's a fucked up question. Oh man, you guys are wild. You're wild. I like it.
So yeah.
Yeah. I'm, honestly, I feel pretty good. And you see, he kind of leans over on one leg, leans over on the other leg, and then he leans forward, and both his legs lift up, and he just kind of balances for a second, pops himself back down on his 2 normal feet.
Fuck is which half?
Yeah. So he's like, what do you need? What do you need? Half a goblin.
Yeah. So I want to explain to him, Fuck, I'm glad you're doing all right. But Boxo sent you down here for emerald skin goblins, correct?
Yeah. The little. He's like the ones that wave their finger like this, and little beams of magic shot out. And you see he waves his finger, and a little beam of magic pops out.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh.
We've already established that.
What the fuck? And you see he's trying to do it again, and he can't replicate it. But you did just see him cast a spell from his finger. If you want to do an Arcana, you can tell you'll know what spell it is.
I do, yeah. I want to check that, but while I do that, I do want to give him that was amazing.
He's like,
kind of give him a boost.
Did you see it? Oh wow, man!
I saw that.
Yeah.
This place is magical. That's for sure.
He's trying. He keeps shaking his finger and can't quite get the spell to come back out.
Go calm down.
Well, been there.
He's out of spell slots.
What did you get?
It's only a level 1 spell.
11.
That's yeah. DC is 11 because it's only a level 1 spell. He casted Witch Bolt.
What did
So
he cast?
Witch Bolt, which as you see the spell that shoots out of his finger is a spell of Fey magic in origin as well.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay.
sweet. So I'm going to. Well, I can just look at Thorkus. I'm gonna look over and like, can you help me with something weird?
Weird
yeah.
shit. All right, I'm saying it. I'm making the Rial's weird shit theme. I've been talking about it for a fucking year now. I'm gonna make it. I'm writing it down. It's happening. Rial's
We
weird.
ask weird shit.
Thank you. Just like
We
that.
spoke it into existence.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
written
Know
down.
somebody. I might know a
Buddy.
beanie maker that also knows how to do music.
Oh, right.
Oh my goodness.
But we already do have an incredible composer, I'm just saying.
Hey.
Well, it
We
just
are.
sucks that none of us can sing though.
Yeah.
Oh God, could you imagine if we could sing?
Ah, that would suck.
There used to be a great tower alone. I'm kidding.
Don't do it. You don't want to right now. You don't want it.
You're right. You're right. We need to work on our harmonies.
I've been saying that for months.
I'm down
guys.
here.
Everybody
and
just sing the
you're up
melody louder.
Baby! All right.
Okay. Alright.
I'm smoking.
Alright, yeah.
Never taken a piss on a rose.
Seal. It's on a roll.
All right, yes.
Oh man, I'm already so high.
So, in our
songbird of a
next
generation.
installment of Rial's weird shit,
Yes.
you see Rial goes up to Thorkus.
Okay, so he asked me if I want to do some weird shit. Can I please run up the back of one of these dead spider things into the Josh pit, playing Lucille the Blightbringer in my finest air lute style, and be like, fucking yeah!
Hell yeah, you can, dude. You feel, you feel the dead spider's skin is set in mostly with rigor mortis, and its shell is hard enough for your feet to get, a perfect launch off. And you glide into the air with the two-handed axe of Lucille, and you rip the sickest air guitar riff as you land in the Josh pit. And your frenetic energy can't help but be contained within this wild magical Josh that's going on. She rolled an 18. I mean, let's be real.
We're having a good old-fashioned Josh.
The Josh for the
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, so what's up?
You put the guitar down. What's up, dude?
You told me about something getting weird, and here I am.
That was a sick rip. You want to chop a goblin in half?
I play the best air lute around, son. Of course I want to chop a goblin in half.
Those two are
You
related.
didn't know? I kill shit.
You see all three of the goblins get a little nervous as they overhear this. They're like, whoa, buddy. You mean those goblins?
Not you.
Those goblins. All right, cool. They say cool. They're cool.
And then I'm like, not them, right?
Oh, I don't know. Is it them or is it not them?
The jade, the emerald ones. The ones attached to the speed rays. Just one of
Oh,
those.
why don't you just take the one that I kicked the fuck off of the back of the other spider?
Oh, sweet. I'll find it and
I
drag
already
it over.
kicked the torso off.
That's true.
Oh, he's already halved. He's already half Twain.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little torso of him is a little floppy and flabby because most of the blood got sucked out of it. But you do have kind of like the withered skin sack of an emerald goblin.
Yeah.
We deserve like a more fresher one, right? It was
There's a fresh
buffalo.
one. There was the one that broke off of there was the one that was connected at the waist that it actually broke. I'm gonna ping him here on the kind of east side against this
Yeah,
wall. He actually
Seems
is like
they can do magic now too. So
But it might be location based, you know what I'm saying? And I like
Location.
all right, I try to cast Hex Bolt too,
What?
because that goblin tried it. So I try it.
you kind of shake your
Because
little
I'm like,
skeleton
Brunor's
fingers.
right. Maybe it is location based.
Again, you feel maybe not as much of the power of the Fey magic, as these crystals have now kind of dissipated, but still the waterfall nearby in the waters. You kind of call upon that essence of the pink mist near you, and you shake your finger like the goblin did. Divit, you do not cast the spell Witch Bolt.
Well,
Maybe it's 'cause I'm
let's
not a
all
goblin.
try. Right? let's all try to do it.
I wanna walk towards the southwest corner.
I've never cast magic before.
Okay, give me a perception check, Bruno.
I'm a scared, but I rolled the 21, baby.
Nice.
Hey.
Definitely good enough. So you, as you start kind of walking over to this southwest corner, you're looking at the shimmering top of this purple pond, with these streaks of silver magic that are getting fainter by the moment. The purple water still remains, but the little wisps of silver within them are kind of fading out. And you look and you're like, it's again purple water, but water nevertheless, the same experience you had when you bathed in the purple river. You kind of like start looking, and your little sea elf eyes kind of like blink sideways a little bit. You kind of look into the water. It looks like there's like this body of water goes underneath the rock there, and then behind this rock face here, it continues on. So it's like underwater, but there seems to be like an underwater little cave that leads back that way.
Interesting. Can I is there any way that I can check to see that this? Well, I don't know. So, Divit was able to go in the water and just have a cool fight. Is there any way that I can check to make sure this water wouldn't like poison the shit out of me? That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, great.
I will say this. This is the same essence of the river that you stood in around the cherry blossom tree. So it is of the same ilk. And you went underwater there. You did, if you'll recall, end up having to make some saving throws, though.
It did go a little bit crazy.
Talking
Hey,
about, you guys always talk about this peach cherry blossom tea party tree thing.
you had to be there. Okay.
Yeah,
so
don't worry about
Where was I?
Y'all, there is a water thing over here. And of course, being from Elmira, I believe that I would be best suited to go check this out, but I just want you guys to like have my back in case anything happens.
If you don't want to go alone, I could go with you.
Yeah, you can totally go with me, and we can go on yeah, let's do it.
Wait, can't we all go with you?
Yeah, we could all go.
Oh my god!
You have a
My
thing, right?
shield can make it possible. Oh my actual god! Thank you, Bubaru. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I clapped right next to the thing because I was right. I was so ready. I'm so sorry, Sean. Okay, so are we done here? Because I don't want to like take everybody away if some crazy shit's gonna happen.
Well, I'm like, we gotta rest, right? Because we used a lot of shit.
In there. Oh man, and God, I could probably go insane and kill Thorcus again.
No, to be fair, Tina killed me the last time.
Yeah.
You guys were on some other shit, and I was like, why? And why not share with me? Is it because I snore?
Can we let these goblins bounce? I feel like they're just standing here watching.
You're right. Yeah, let's let him go. Hey, thank you so much. You should take whatever one of these corpses back, I guess. We can cut it.
We can have a freshie if you guys want.
Well, I'm not a freshie.
Freshy and fleshy. Let's do it.
Yeah, there's the one, the pretty much full body of. It's funny that we have to like clarify. There's like this one's pieces. This one's like a foot. It's like you can fit so many goblins in this
It's a
body.
nice full-bodied one.
Yeah,
Cut
no,
'em in twain.
the one here on the southeast, kind of around where that corner is, where you first entered this cavern. You see that one that was kind of backing away that died. That has It has a good old trusty dusty arrow stuck right through his chest. That one's still in pretty good shape, other than having a perfectly good arrow in his chest.
Hey,
Hell yeah.
when you,
All
it's-
right. Bye.
All right. Whatever part of him you need to cut off, you cut off.
Either one, I guess.
Either way. Yeah. What
Oh, dude.
what piece do you give this guy?
Oh, I figured whatever piece they want me to. How would you like me to slice this up for you today, ma'am?
You see Fuck's like, oh man, you guys, maybe I'm rolling with the wrong crowd. You guys seem like a really good time. All right, well, let's see here. And you see he looks, you see he's kind of like looking down, and you all are like taking a second to actually like look at this goblin. Again, their skin kind of shines like it's made of emerald, but upon closer inspection, you look, it's just simply the color. They have this like magical sheen to their skin. It's, you know, their bodies aren't actually made of emerald. And so, you know, but they do stand in striking comparison to like the light green skin of most goblins. And so you see Fuck just kind of leans down. He's like, man, I guess whatever parts we can get, we're probably going to have to, you know, let old Lemmy have a couple stabs at this guy, huh? And the goblins are like, and a little sinister. You're like, who's Lemmy and what does he do?
Lemmy is God.
On a
With their
mission.
comments, I'll suggest to Thoricus to take an arm, because they are casting like magic through the fingers. So if that's anything like, take the arm. They're not making a decision, so.
Right. How about, because Papa rolled hot, could I get let me get a wing and some jawbone.
Okay. And like a little breast.
Can I get a head and an arm?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like you bring the axe like a here, and you give him like that. This general
Kinda
use.
gross.
That's a fresh cut.
Yeah,
An
you
elegant cut.
kind of drumstick the guy, and you hand his little, you know, again, Fuck just kind of like looks at you guys while you cut this dude in half, and he's just like, oh man, friggin' wild. All right, grabs the army,
I don't have any wax paper.
tosses
Fuck
it
is
up.
like, I didn't even say I couldn't carry the guy. But whatever.
He tosses it over to Jangle, and Jangle just like catches it. You see, he's like, thank
Right.
you. And then they start like kind of walking away, headed back up toward the same direction that Jingle went. If you guys had anything else for him,
You're welcome. Say hello to the lungs on the way out.
we shall
Also, give him our best.
we shall
Make
report
sure-
to Boxo. He will make sure that you are properly rewarded for your efforts.
4 out of 5 ain't bad.
What do you mean 4 out of 5?
No,
Oh,
you know, I was. Everyone else got to take a dump earlier, and I didn't. So, 4 out of 5 ain't bad. I actually shit my pants when I jumped off the back of the spider. That's what I meant.
You see, give me a deception check, Thoricus.
17.
You see the three goblins kind of look at each other, and the two in the back, you know, Jangle and Bingle, kind of like look at each other, and then Fuck just kind of swaps his arms around him. He's like, all right, guys, well, good luck in whatever you're doing here, and thanks for working with Boxo's trading company. And they all kind of like do a little tip of a hat they're not wearing and walk up this pathway.
Yeah, I'm gonna go wash my ass in the waterfall.
Roll for ass wash? No, I'm kidding. Yeah, do you want to like go into the waterfall? You see, I mean, like, you know, Divit and that floating blue orb are still just kind of like chilling in the little mist area, water in the north. Or no, like Divit, you said you walked up to them. My bad. So yeah, but the orb is still kind of floating underneath the waterfall. You see, it's like after having pulled the energy out of the crystals and melting them away, it's just returned and just kind of like you see the like ominous blue orb just floating in the middle of the misty waterfall that falls down.
Right. So yeah, Divot, if you don't want dwarf shit on this thing, you should probably take it out of here, because I really did shit my pants. I have to wash my ass. I'm gonna take a note.
Can I prestidigitate his ass clean?
You absolutely can. I'm glad. I wish we had covered that more in the game, but yeah, at any time, you guys, if you got smelly butts, prestidigitation would.
You prestidigitate?
It's in
Yeah,
there.
we can double down.
I've been
Yeah,
able to
and
take
can I
my
also-
pants this entire time, and you guys could just fix it.
Is it like a car wash?
We could have made you just not have to poop.
Whoa.
I prestidigitate the shit right out of Thoricus.
oh my god, this truly is fantasy role playing.
1 year, baby. 1 year.
What did you guys do tonight? What would you use the boundless power of magic for? I gotta clean some poop shoots.
Instant poops.
Yeah, you guys, you do kind of reek. You don't spend much time in the water, and not actually taking the time out of it. You do kind of have like a couple magic car washes in your prestidigitating friends.
Ooh, we should all take a bath in the waterfall.
Yeah. We should.
There's this blue floating orb, and you're like,
We're all naked. It's like, yes. Whatever. We're the five. We don't care.
Don't give a fuck.
We don't give a fuck what anyone has. Who cares? We're all naked. Born naked, die naked. That's what I say. Nice.
Oh yeah.
I've always said that.
For years. You guys know. I tweeted it like years ago.
Check the records.
Check out.
All right, so you give a little magic bath to your friend Thoricus. But yeah, at this point, you kind of like, I know it's like we've been shifting between like narrative and battle. This is more like dungeon vibes now. You've got the room around you. You do notice, like I said, that it seems like underneath that the purple water to the southwest, it like goes under, and there's like seemingly some underwater cavern there full of this purple water. In the corner of the room, you've got the corpse of the Drider still. The blue orb of Glacious is floating in the waterfall, like I said, I mean, you've also got the breath of the mountain kind of, blowing that smooth, a much smoother breeze, kind of coming around that corner from the southeast. So that's what you guys got.
Anybody want to investigate that weird body? And I'm vague because weird body applies to everything in the room.
Pretty much. I will volunteer also.
Yeah, you can guys take a look at the if you guys want to do kind of like a little pat down on the corpses. The closest ones to you are the giant spiders. The one of them has had the torso kicked off, but the legs are still attached through stone to the frame of what appears to be a mostly normal giant spider, as well as the one next to it. You see where the stone broke. It appeared that the magic crystal was just kind of holding the legs to the giant spider. As you kind of continue on upward toward the giant phase spider, you see that is actually different. After its transformation, the connection between the legs and the back of the spider had fused entirely. So the goblin's legs, the emerald skin goblin's legs on the back of that one, who you cut the wrists off of, is actually fully attached. And then behind that is the giant, blue and white crystalline corpse of the phased rider, kind of an abomination, half giant green or giant blue and electric white spider, thorax and abdomen, and then the upper half is this like mangled, twisted drow elf upper half.
Yes.
The face has started to twist with like mandibles and stuff, but yeah, it's just kind of like looming ominously in the corner.
I volunteer for that one.
So yeah, Thoricus, you go up, you see, you haven't encountered many drow, but probably of the five, maybe the most of the group. The drow said to come from the Underdark, where they have an entire civilization of their own. There's a lot of really bad blood between the drows and like the high elves of the world around you, the forests, the elves of Cain the Lost, for example. You see she has like dark black skin, and her fine elvish features have kind of been twisted and contorted now. Like I said, where her normal mouth was, it's kind of like peeling back, and it's almost like it's not quite a mandible yet, but you see as it was kind of like morphing to that. You think, given time, perhaps that would have been the final version. The bite. You see the venom that kind of drips from the teeth. As this hunking corpse is just kind of down. You see the leg that you chopped off is still kind of just laying there on the ground. You see she does have that long sword. You kind of like take a peek at that. It is a silver long sword. So she's the long sword that she had at her side. You also see around the waist section where like the pieces of her armor are. There is a little bag, and so it's like strangely it seems like this thing has like some possessions hanging around its waist.
Yes, I will take all of those things.
You kind of grab the pouch. You hear a little jingling inside. You look in, and you actually see there's some platinum pieces inside. About 25 platinum pieces in number are in this bag. But you see stamped on the front of them are these elvish symbols that you've never seen before. It's elvish, obviously, because you can tell by like the nature of the writing, but it's not like the language of elves that you know. But yes, it seems these strange coins maybe a throwback to the former life of this drow, perhaps before it went through what it became.
Cool. You guys know what these elvish coins are? Either Bruno or Brielle. If that's pronounced right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead and take a look. Brunor, you give me a history check.
Oh, well, this isn't. I don't know how this. I got a 7.
There's multiple coins. Can I give it a go too?
Yes.
You said history? Oh no. No, not on our 1 year. You bitch.
Matching rolls.
Look at that.
Wow, yeah, twinsies.
Wow.
Wow.
Whatever, I'll smoke to it.
Oh, yeah.
Deal.
Oh, man.
All right, Elf Brotherhood.
It's 420. We get to smoke whatever we want. All right.
So what
Everyone
do we gather
rolls
from
the
that?
unfamiliar coin between their fingers.
No! We're gonna get our asses kicked.
Thorcus' feet start digging in.
That's what we're asking.
Don't you spin coins around Thorcus Onyx Heart. All right, so yeah, with your 7s, you're both like, you both pull out a coin and you look at it intently and you're like, yes. You turn it around to the other side, of course. And you both look at each other and you hand them back to the Thorcus and you're like, platinum. It's a platinum piece. These are platinum coins. Yeah, obviously you know about the same as he did. It's elvish in origin, but it's not the elvish that you're familiar with. But unfortunately, with your terrible history checks, and just like historically, like let's talk about in the last year. I don't know how many history checks have been passed, but I know a lot have been failed. It is the blight of the big bad evil guy in this campaign is history checks.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we were all sleeping in Mr. Hand's class.
All right, so but yes, again, just kind of like a small detail of the coins themselves. But that's what you get. You get a silver longsword off the Drider, 25 platinum pieces, and with the strange elvish symbols on them. Thorcus, you also notice this electric blue webbing. Kind of looking at, you notice just how strong it was when Rial was bound to it, and you're kind of like looking at it. The blacksmith in your brain kind of starts coiling over. You're checking the tensile strength, bink, 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 on the bow, on the thread itself. Very sticky. Hard to work with, but you think with a little downtime and maybe some blacksmithing, trickery. Maybe with some a blacksmith check during some downtime, you might be able to use this to enhance a bow or something of the sort, or even two. There's quite a bit of this webbing. Again, it's strange. It's made of it has a much stronger tensile strength than like the web that they shoot from their mouth. This stuff, it has, it reeks of other planes as well. There's a little something extra to it, kind of crystal that runs through the webbing.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
I will try to do that after my 6 hours of sleep. Beneath its rest.
Tight 6. Will do a man good. Yeah.
Tight.
Oh,
So, is that the consensus? It's nap time?
it's time for a little rest.
You guys have had some really intense fights. I'm very proud of you. That was
I think we should talk to Stone Lungs or like. Wait, what happened with Esmeralda? Is she still like?
No,
I'm
she's
sorry.
gone forever.
She's
But
gone.
Glacious, little blue man.
Oh, right.
Blue, yeah.
Yeah, Glacious, the blue orb of Glacious, not leaving, not commenting, not really anything. You just see the blue pulsing light just glowing in the
We
waterfall.
should have given him those edibles.
I do want
It's
to.
hit them too hard.
He's
It has it
feeling
every
it.
time. Glacius is a bitch when it comes to edibles.
If we're still looting, I'd like to do something of the sort. I'd like to ask Brunor while we're over by these phase spiders, and while pulling out one of the daggers. I'm like, do you know where the venom sacs are on these? Because I remember getting bit and warding off the poison, which was like a frozen paralysis. And if we could get a little of that on some arrows.
Is an animal. Should I roll for animal handling? Would that be a thing?
It would be kind of. I would say you would be able to Bruno offer him help, which would grant him an advantage in this case.
Okay,
Real,
yeah.
it would ultimately come to you making a survival check to see if you can manage to cut it out without accidentally cutting, an artery that bleeds the venom out or whatever. But yeah, this is gonna be a little hard because this is like you guys aren't familiar with this strange creature's anatomy. But knowing what you know about spiders, and again, Real, you're rather learned. You read many books. You can attempt to remove the venom sac, but I will say it's with advantage. It'll be a DC 20. Well, it was a DC 20 before the advantage, but it's a DC 20.
Might get some more Dick Van Dyke here. Real, he's got the book smarts. He hasn't got them forest smarts.
Giving you everything I've got.
With advantage, survival.
No.
So,
How'd
What
you
does
do?
that do?
All right, let's see. 13. So Real, you kind of like roll this beast over, and you take the throat fucker, probably the sharpest cutting instrument that you have, and just kind of split the chest on this beast down near where the fangs are. At first you're blasted by the revolting smell of the innards of the strange beast, and you start removing. There's this large sack that's as you touch it, it kind of feels like a bag filled with jello, like it's just like kind of soft and gooey, and you're like following the track of where the venom would, you're like, yes, okay, this must be the poison sac. You take your throat fucker and you start kind of slicing the arteries around it, and you have it in your hand, and as soon as you disconnect it entirely from all the surrounding body parts, it phases into the ethereal plane. You kind of look down inside,
Right.
and it's gone.
Sorry.
Is it okay if I just kind of process everything and take a rest, guys? I'm just gonna-
That's all right. I think we all really do need a rest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds like a great idea.
You could take the first round.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
May
man. I got your back. It's been a rough time, so you go ahead. I'll chill.
Well, if we're gonna rest, we should do it in style.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
To the green room, and I cast Tiny Hut.
All right.
Yes.
Thank Glorp for Divit.
So kind of in this same space here where the unremovable crystals are, you summon you summon out the green room. The bone-rooted orb, kind of a little inn of its own right. With morphing walls that fill with at your own whims. You see the orb kind of grows. Again, we know rules explained. Brian wouldn't be able to fit into it. But don't you dare tell Brian what he can't fit in. Brian fits everything. Rules explained.
He's like the opposite of a Goliath. He gets to be a medium creature.
Wait, I love you, Rules Explained. That was a bit.
Of course, yeah. Rules explained usually is like they do homebrew, so yep.
Yeah.
technically, it shouldn't be this, but fuck it, this is awesome.
They've even done technically things and explained rules that we've established. So
Yeah.
they're even on top of our game, which is incredible. I love them.
We love you.
Yeah, rules.
We love our
coming out.
buds.
I love them.
You buds are the best. All right. So yes, you summon the tiny hut again. This gives you this 10-foot radius. It's a little cramped quarters for all of you to fit in, and I think that's hilarious. But yes, the hookah lounge that is the green room, the tiny hut of Divit is summoned, and you all kind of cram yourselves in together. So in the rest mechanic, some of you guys have longer desired rest. Everybody has a little bit of free time. You have a couple hours. So again, you can kind of leave or enter the hut at will. Just so you know, the blue orb of Glacious does continue to stay under the waterfall. You know, he's not like bolting for it or anything. Divit, you know, again, you've now connected with the warrior spirit of this guy a little bit. You think that's kind of it. Like he made you a deal and he's not just gonna bounce. So again, speaking to a little bit of the qualities you've seen in him, he does seem to be, if anything, an Iceman of his word. So
Can I invite him in for story time? Does he's not a large creature now that he's just an orb, right?
He's not. Yeah, he's a ball of light. So you know, if you're all kind of crammed into this, like it's like those hookah lounges you went to because you were like 17 and they weren't supposed to let you in, so they were all cramped and they were in the back of some like terrible place and you're all like shoulder to shoulder, and then there's this like pulsing blue light right in front of your face. You're just like, oh, this is great. This is awesome. Yeah, you see, you know, everybody's kind of trying to make room. Brunor, you're kind of like sitting on, you know, Brian the way that you kind of do when you rest on him and everything. You all, you know, again, it's been kind of a wacky few hours, and just your weariness. You know, Tina, you've escaped death several times as you guys finally engaged with your father, Shren. Again, you know, seeing your father for the first time, Divit. A lot of I don't need to go over all of it, but a lot of big stuff has happened, and you guys are, you know, had battled to the brink of death, and you do feel, you know, your weary bones, even the hero's bones, are pretty tired in this moment. So yeah.
If Rial, if you're going to take the first rest, I'll sit outside with Brian. That's okay. We can just hang out outside of the tent.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, and I'd like to get some rest pretty soon as well. But I think we're all hungry, right? I think I could find something good for us to eat. Maybe like some cherry blossoms around here, like brew like a little sun tea.
I'll help you find stuff. Brian and I will help you find stuff. We'll see what we can do.
That's amazing.
Well, you guys all rest in this little hut.
Yeah, so we're gonna do whoever's taking their rest first. Go and kind of put yourself here in this little crystal area in the center, and then we'll just kind of play through the long rest mechanic. So Thoricus, my man, getting his nap. If there is going to be food, they'll deliver it to you before you sleep, of course.
I can wake up and eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tina, unfortunately, you know, not able to draw upon the bounty of the forest the way that you so often do. You know, the harvest of a stone cave is tough indeed. But what you do find are some nice non-psychedelic mushrooms. You know, you find some like really nice little shiitakes, and you know, maybe a little of that truffle. Maybe you find like a little truffle.
Yeah. And you know, I get a fire going, and I got my secret little spices that I got stashed in my bag, and I stuffed mushrooms for dinner, guys.
Yes. And again, you know, Tina Smoothhands, her meals have a tendency to access some of your favorite memories, and you know, it is in no mistake through a direct connection to her goddess Shantia, goddess of the bounty, of the harvest. You know, sharing a meal with your allies, with your family, with your friends, and the power of that moment. And so you guys kind of connect again to this little dish that she's able to make out of like some edible roots and mushrooms that tastes far better than it has any right to.
So while she and I are walking around looking for stuff too, I want to kind of like talk and walk at the same time.
Totally. Yeah.
So it's crazy that, you know, about your dad just straight up having no problem killing you, right?
Yeah. Crazy. He's kind of the most evil person ever.
Cha.
Yeah.
I could tell.
You know, I just tried to get as far away from that as I could, and I can't handle that it's still affecting all of us.
And it's funny, like, it doesn't matter how far you think you can run from something, it will always find you.
Yeah, you can say that again.
But you know what? You don't have to face it alone. You have us now.
Yeah.
Like, I hate that guy too as much as you hate it. Like, I fucking hate that guy. I'm gonna go kill that guy.
That makes me feel good.
Yeah, I fucking, like, if I saw him just at a market and we were just walking around and I had other things to go do, I would pause my plans for the day to just slit his fucking throat. He's an asshole. Fuck that guy.
Aww.
Fuck Shren, old bug.
Yeah, fuck Shren, old bug.
Yeah, fuck Shren, old bug. Yeah, Shren, old bug.
Oh! Wow.
awkward because Bruner's not really super comfortable. Like we both are wearing like armor, and I just kind of like clink clink.
Yeah. And I feel like I'm a great deal smaller than you as well, so I'm kind of like hugging your waist a bit. Yeah, but that felt really good.
And I grab your bald head. Yep.
Smooth.
Smooth head.
Tin a smooth head.
I just wanted you to know that like it's okay. Like you don't need hair on your head. You look fine. It looks cool. I'm glad to have you as a friend.
I think I really like it like this. I might keep it up. But let's see if we can't find something good to eat.
Holly.
Yeah, cool.
You reach into some of the, the green shifting stones, little corridors where the dampness is just right. Maybe a flavor of that cinnamon of the Feywild hidden within the mushroom that helps add a little magic kiss to your dish. You start kind of cooking away as who's taking this kind of the. Looks like okay, cool. So Thoricus, you're resting. You managed to cook up, like I said, a nice meal full of hearth and home. Each of you, again, as you kind of take a bite, you can't help but think about how many times now, after some really horrific or tragic or difficult thing, a meal that Tina has made you has kind of like brought you all back together, and
The very least I can do. The very least.
So she hands it all out.
Yeah.
You do it well.
Yummy.
Hydrate.
Hydrate.
Yeah, I was.
All right.
I felt it.
I went high pinky on that one.
Ooh.
I'm having some water.
We always talk about who's the highest, but we never talk about who's the fanciest.
Fancy schmancy.
I just always assume it's Divit.
Divit's
Yeah.
fanciest.
Yeah.
What was it? Ildessa the Ildressa?
Yeah.
Oh man.
We're a bard.
Yo,
Divit,
Ildessa is super
the
hot right now.
Ildressa.
So hot.
She's so hot right now.
So hot right now. Ildessa is finest weaves that you can get.
Okay, so we have like bowls and stuff ready for the boys that are resting, kind of like next to them for when they wake up or whatever.
Yeah.
You guys packed us full?
Yeah, we packed you a bowl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Hell yeah.
bro. I'm saying like the best friends ever.
The best.
Yeah.
That's you guys are too good.
You've done it again.
You know what? I'm gonna try and come up with some dope shit in the 2 hours that I have after my 6-hour nap for you.
Thank you.
So you're kind of like pulling your blanket over you as you're saying it. Like, yeah, pretty soon it's good.
Yeah, no, pretty soon. Just give it like 6 hours. Exactly 6. Not a minute sooner.
You hear the growling of a great beast, the snore of Snoricus Onyx Heart. Papa, you go right to sleep. You go right to Napland, and the uninterrupted sleep. No more night hags to interrupt your nightmares. You have hearty dreams of bearded dwarven women.
I'm kind of genuinely terrified of what's gonna happen when Thoris gets a full night's rest.
Can we handle that?
You're not ready for it.
I don't know what's gonna happen.
No one's ready
They
for that.
rested Papa.
Like there may be 4 tickets to Bucktown.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Double-sided axes.
It's like Home Alone,
To
like
both
the
parts.
family
You get
on
access to
vacation
both parts.
tickets.
You got frequent flyer miles, bitch. Axes
yeah.
everywhere. Hand axes, Lucille Blightbreaker.
Fingers are axes, yeah.
Toricus axe finger.
Oh my gosh.
Behind every finger is another axe.
Yeah.
Yo, so, what's the likelihood of getting this blue guy to spill the beans?
So Glacious has promised to tell you, what he knows of kind of
Serve up those cold beans.
So yeah, you see he's kind of just floating in the room still after casting away. He'd rather be a blue light than the tiny little ice guy. And so yes,
Goodwill.
he says, Divit, I have access to the knowledge of the other side. The balance is shifting. The gateway between the planes is wavering. And I know why. Your druids, Achaeus was his name.
During the Silver Reign, he opened a rift between the Feywild and the world of men. In that moment, my queen, Mab, dipped her feet in the realm of men for the first time, and she grew hungry. She wanted a way back. A place to rule away from her sister Titania. It was to these ends that she began planting her seeds, finding of the child of Auntie Agatha Frogwort, a middle ground, a conduit, by which she could pass her power into this plane. The Druids do not know. She seeks to corrupt their mission. They wish to bring the tree. Yes, Divit, the tree of life itself, across the plains. If they succeed in doing so, everything will be forever changed. The Feywild will take root in the realm of men, and no longer will your species have access to their weave of magic. It will be by our benevolence that you'll be able to create magical effects at all. The Queen is jealous, Divit, of her sister, dreadfully jealous. And she wants her root in this realm. I was to be her agent, but you stopped me. I was to lead her armies to the workshop to better arm our troops, but again, you stopped me. But I was told you would stop me, Divit, by the Queen's advisor, Synthesis.
And you hear his name kind of echo in the cave around you.
He is pulling the strings, tempting the Queen of Ice and Shadow to tip her hand and come into the other side, ill-prepared. She will be very angry now, and I intend to leave. What else would you know? I shall tell you if I have the answer.
Where do I find him?
Synthesis.
You know, as he says the words, Divit, you feel the heartbeat in your chest. You hear the faint heartbeat from Rial. The word itself, calls to the inner parts of you, Rial, as you, kind of put together the pieces of your reality and what your combination with the being known as Synthesis is. It feels like he's all around you and nowhere at the same time. But he says he currently sits. And you see he beckons his hand back, and you see the waterfall as the mist of purple energy starts falling down. You see the beats of the heartbeat in each of the waves of mist that come down. Like the heartbeat itself is beating within this waterfall.
He sits in the court of my lady herself, at her side, Divit. But he also rests.
And then you see the blue light glow. And for a moment, all of you are aware of the same pings that Divit had from before. Thoricus, as you're getting ready for your rest, you see the outline of the Shale Fist. Vegeta Shalefist, your rival from your days at Kulmara. You can feel him across the distance between you and the dwarven citadel of Nombuldir to the north of the Malachite Mountains. Brunor, you feel that same rippled echo. You see the outlined shadow dragon Ixonius floating over the ivory gates of the city of Elmira. You can feel that great distance between you and there, and that calling back to your original purpose.
That is where he is.
And then you see he also points, his blue light illuminates the face of Rial. You hear the heartbeat.
And he rests there as well. But you knew that, Divit.
Yeah, I did. So what are you gonna do now?
I must to the Frostfell to lick my wounds. My people come from there. I was offered as a gift to the Queen. I served as a general. I grow tired of being a monster, Divit. I fear the Queen will never let me back. I shall never see my day in the sun. Never clash swords with the Rabbit Man again. Oh, how I enjoyed our battles. I wish to go back to where things make sense. To the cold, the dark places. And learn a little more about myself. You have my word, Divit, that I will not serve the Queen beyond this moment now. This will be the last you hear of Glacious. However, you see a glowing pulse of light. Suddenly in front of him materializes a small version of the Iceblight. A blade made of pure ice. Emblazoned on the blade is this glowing blue rune. You see like frost emanating off of the tip. He says, however, the Iceblight, may it serve you well. And it just floats. This, this large, kind of like scimitar in appearance, with again the blue glowing rune. Divit, you reach out, and even without skin, your skeleton fingertips feel the coolness of this blade. It is for the D&D of it all. This is a frost brand, so it's just a +1 longsword. And because, he's kind of like talking in your mind at this time, you don't have to worry about identifying or anything. It also adds 1d6 ice damage. And that damage does also multiply on crits. So it's just, it's the standard d8 longsword, d10 if you're using both hands. It's +1. And it also does some ice damage. So yeah, he basically like gives you this little version, the smallest version that he has. He's like, I have contained the power that I have left in this realm into this blade. May the Iceblight serve you well. But what of your allies? Have they any questions for the Pink Mist?
Oh,
Gang?
you're muted, buddy.
So yeah, do you guys have, basically he's fulfilled his end of the bargain. He's kind of told you, fulfilled in some of the gaps about like what's going on behind the scenes with Queen Mab. He's saying he's going to go to the Frostfell. Those of you with knowledge of the planes, that sits between the plane of ice and air, and it's just basically a perpetual permafrost where frost elementals and ice creatures come from. He claims to be from there, granted as a gift to Queen Mab. So that's where he's saying that he's going to return and no longer serve, kind of afraid of what might happen to him if he goes back to the Queen. He's set to go back there. But if you guys have any questions for him or anything before he takes off, he's willing to answer.
No, I don't have any questions. I'm good. I mean, that place sounds terrible, but that's
It's cold
that's
all the
where
time.
you want to go. You do you.
I have one question for him before he goes. So you've had a few court dates. Having been there, who's the weakest link?
The Queen herself is foolish, petulant, and angry, brash to a fault. She does not like to be made to look a fool. If I were to try to turn her favor, it would be to slight her in front of her court and lay her bare. She may also flay you and remove the skin from your body. I've seen her do it before.
Yeah, we just dealt with that. That's fine.
I say if you do go to the court of Queen Mab, seek out Ilmon. He has been there the longest, and he knows the most.
One more time with that name. I'm so sorry.
Ilmon. I-L-M-O-N.
Ah. Okay. So yeah. Now, I've been in a few wars. Can't. I don't hear so good.
Yeah. So yeah, Ilmon. This is. He says if you do get to the court, Ilmon, you see. He goes on. He's like he's been there the longest. He is a sage of the Winter Court.
All right, tight. I appreciate his like assistance through all of this, and I like wink at him or whatever. I know that he's gonna have a tough time explaining some of what happened with him to his people, so I'd like to. I want to burn my last bardic inspiration to give him like a proverbial slap on the ass and hype him up to like tell his people, hey, I'm back, and you should be happy about it, not ask too many questions.
There it is.
Yeah, you know, you have a little working knowledge of the plains just from the silly songs that you've sung about the circle town of Sigil that floats in the stars, and a wandering man yourself. So you see, again, you kind of like zest him up with a little bardic inspiration, invigorating the warrior spirit within him, returning to his people, perhaps with knowledge of things they've never seen or heard of, and returning to his home. And you see, the light kind of pulses real bright, and just before it leaves, you see it stop, and he just goes,
If you see the rabbit man again, tell him I enjoyed our battles.
and the ball just disappears, and you see little wisps of silvery magic kind of cyclone back through the waterfall. And everything around you kind of returns to its less mystical state. Other than, the magical room that you're sitting in.
Right.
Right.
All right, so as far as just the rest mechanic, getting that out of the way, everybody, you've now eaten, you've had the tin meal. Does anybody, for the first, let's see, Thorcus, you're out for what, 8 hours? Tin, I believe you're out for 8 hours, right?
Yeah.
They said I could do 6.
Oh, that's right, you're out for 6
Oh,
hours,
yeah,
and then 2
6,
hours
yeah.
of light activity. You guys can do some light activity.
Yeah, so I'm gonna wrap up the cooking, leave food out, kind of find leaves to cover it to protect stuff so that everybody can enjoy it later too. And then I'm gonna go ahead get some rest.
All right, Thorcus, you're sleeping for your first 6, right? Rial and Brunor, you're both elves, so you only need to transfer 4 hours.
Yeah.
He was
So,
gracious enough to give me the first rest. I've got a lot to process, so I'm just gonna take to a corner and just sign off for a minute.
Your guys kind of glaze over the sign of the trance.
yeah, I'm just gonna hang out by the fire that Tina built to cook the food, and with the bra man, and I'm going to just give him loves and scritches because he got so far down and away from me.
Yeah, man. You see where the hole was, the healing powers of Tina sealed the wound through the wing, but you see as you kind of put your finger on it, he kind of winces a little bit in pain as if there's still a little damage to his body. A long rest will do him pretty well, as he seems extremely tired as well. Quite a day.
Actually sleep, so I'm just gonna rub his little feeties and rub his back and stuff, and he can take the longest rest he wants. Yeah.
He just settles into the soft part of this moss, finds the squishiest part of the mud and just kind of wiggles himself down, the thick wiggly boy that he is.
Yeah, he's a crocodile. The crocodiles love them some good moist environments.
That's right. Threw it out. All right, so yeah,
I'm so
Brian's
glad he's
passed
still
out.
a thick wiggly boy and not a thick ass pair of dope shoes.
Yeah, if Brian does die, you guys have to make shoes out of him. That's our deal.
Oh, why?
No.
I think the show would be over. I think people would just
they'd be like, this is the last Weed&d. What kind of sick? You can kill children, but leave the crocodile alone.
He's so
Yeah, turn Divit into a vest, but don't you fucking touch Brian.
no one can touch Brian. Yeah, so he's just gonna take a sleep, and I'm gonna give him scritches and hang out by the fire for the first round of folks just taking a rest and chilling.
Dope.
And I'm just thinking this whole time about, like, the whole time I can't stop thinking about the freaking hole back there with the water in it. I'm just like, what the hell?
So you do notice, Brunor, as you know, you're kind of like looking over it like, oh, gosh, I just wish I could go in that hole. Like, everybody's got to sleep, but man, that hole.
And then overall, also at the waterfall, going like, maybe I can also go in the stupid waterfall. Like,
You do notice that as time goes on and with the crystals going away, you know, now that you've got, you know, a few hours to kind of kick rocks by the fire, you're kind of looking around. You see the tendrils that died. They're kind of like retreating into themselves as if like this taint is just slowly like kind of dying away. And you see, although the water's still purple, you notice that the silver wisps that, you know, kind of cut through them like magical fish are starting to like go away in numbers. So it's like, it's starting to just resemble more like a magical purple river than, you know, without the jets of magic within it. Not that necessarily know what that means, but it is something worth noting. And you kind of notice that again, like all the little tendrils, again, no sign of these crystals coming back or trying to latch to anything. It seems, you know, like you guys have actually, you have purified the taint.
oh, good. I love a withering taint.
Yeah.
All right,
Or
so
we gonna, oh shit.
anybody else? Did you guys during the long rest? Thorcus, you've got your 6. Anybody? I know, Divit, you only need to rest for like 4 hours, I think. You're kind of in the same.
Yeah,
boat as
light
the elves.
activity for 4.
Yeah. So yeah, and as far as light activities, did you guys have anything you wanted to
the
do?
whole time everybody's napping.
Yeah, what were you gonna say, Divit?
Oh, I was just gonna say, you came back, and I'm wondering if you went into that like underwater cave thing.
Not yet, no, I'm gonna wait. I was waiting until all my health comes back. I kind of maybe a little bit got my ass kicked, and so did my thick boy, so I'm gonna wait, and then, oh, and you better believe I'm gonna go for a swimmy swim.
Swim.
Oh yeah.
Swim.
Swimmy swim!
Love it.
All right, cool. Light activity phase. Anything? I know, Thorcus, you were talking about maybe doing a little blacksmithy stuff. Anybody?
Yeah, a little, you know, just a little light activity blacksmithing.
Do me. Go ahead and hit me
Super
with.
easy.
Use your blacksmithing check. I think it's down there, kind of where like your languages are.
Would a 24 or 25 work?
Big Papa Sketty.
Either one, though. I
Hey,
just,
Papa Sketchy! Before you guys get started, is that like enough time for me and Rob to like tag out?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
Okay.
If you guys want
oh,
to.
for sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
So-
Party Boys Real, tag out!
Elves. Yeah, you see like the 2 elves just kind of trancing nearby you. You're like, man, like why don't you guys just sleep? I don't understand. I feel like there's so much.
Right, like it feels really good. You guys. Like
Sleep
you
is
just
tight.
get like 2 more hours. I swear to God, you're gonna feel fucking amazing.
I feel so much better. I get you can, but couldn't you still sleep? Whatever. So yeah, Thorcus, you're kind of like me, you know, like stretching this like electric blue string in front of you. You know, at first you're like, it's not. While it is strong, it's not as strong as, you know, a proper bow string. And then you realize that like because of the way that it like sticks to itself, you start kind of like layering it and then like throwing a little twist braid on it, and you're kind of like working with it as a, you know, a material you've never quite worked with. You're kind of letting it speak to you. You know what I mean? Like you have with metals you've never worked with and stuff. You're a natural blacksmith. You know, like blacksmithing's in the blood of the Onyx hearts, you know, through the bloodline of Kulmara, and it's a great honor to you to do so. So you kind of start listening to the material, and you're like forging this like crystal web together, and you're kind of looking over, you know, Brunor's passed out, and you kind of like look down, you see the daughter of Ash. So basically within this mechanic, you can, by using this, increase the tensile strength on one of these bows. You can do one of 2 things. You can either add like a damage class to it, so or like upgrade it from, like, you could take the Daughter of Ash and basically turn it into a long bow instead of being a short bow, so it'd be like a little upgrade to that. Trusty Dusty, if you used it on, you could get you get +1 to the damage with Trusty Dusty, or the same for what is it, Son of Birch Reynolds.
Son
son of a bird.
That could also get the +1 bonus. So whichever way you wanted to do, there is quite a bit of it. So you know what? Really, you rolled super hot. If I would say you could do it, you can upgrade 2 of them with what you have access to. You know, finding the certain amount of web, you did real high. You rolled 24. You find that the ones that have like these little threaded micro crystals in them, and you're like, these are the ones that you need. You know, some of this is just normal web, and you're kind of like, again, listening to the crystal within the stone song itself as you kind of like zone out in your own trance of blacksmithing, a dance that you did with your lady love in Esmeralda, that kind of liquid zone out where you're just kind of like working and sweating and you've got your craft.
What are you talking about? Shut up.
I don't have a
That
girlfriend.
didn't happen.
Thorkus
Guys,
has a girlfriend.
Nothing happened. We made armor. You guys are wearing some of it.
You made armor. I didn't say you
Why
didn't
isn't-
make armor.
Everyone just keeps freaking out every time we talk about this shit. Nothing happened, okay?
We just sent you a little love
Really
letter.
good.
We
Making
don't-
armor.
We're not forgetting the love letter, Thorkus.
I'm the giddy best friend in the corner, just like.
All right.
So yeah,
Okay,
which
so-
two? Which two would you like to do the upgrade to, Thorkus?
Oh, that's okay. I was like, I got so distracted for no reason whatsoever. And I was gonna ask you if, while during my light duty activities, could I stroll outside the hut and go talk to Stone Lungs, maybe burn an inspiration point to find out how I could make this electric blue webbing and maybe something that the mountain's butthole could suggest to me to make these two things even more badass, or throw some dope sauce on it, or maybe even stretch it out enough to take care of all 3 of our weapons.
All right.
instead of
I will let you play that interaction out with him if you wanted to. I can't. I don't want to say what he can or cannot do without that. You do, like I said, you hear the blowing, the breeze, kind of a cooler air, the non-smell of cinnamon. Kind of just that dusty old, reminding you of the mountain air coming down from where the lungs are. So yeah, if you wanted to peel off and go chat with him, I'm cool with that. If anybody wants to go with you, they can. In this case, as long as they're not trancing.
Yeah, as long as they're not trancing. So, hey, buddy, Divit, or actually, yeah, Real, boys trip? You guys just want to go on a boys trip and talk to the Stone Lung thing that we banished, kind of?
Yeah, I'm down with that, with the caveat that, like, while the rest of this was going on, I was attuning to my new weapon or whatever.
Yeah, so because you would have an hour or two, Divot, and since you don't have the constraint of needing sleep, being a revenant, you could take an hour to attune to that. So yeah, you've got a frost brand now, a little +1 longsword.
Yeah, because correct me if I'm wrong, but I have the hat and the vest, so I can attune to the sword.
To the sword as well. That would be your 3rd magic item. You could no longer attune to any other items, or you can. You just have to unattune from. It doesn't take any time to do that. You can just like drop your attunement on an item. But yeah, you would have to choose beyond this if you find any other magic stuff. But yeah, you get you wield the Iceblight, Divot. You feel like if you had more skin on your fingers, you might get a little frostbite on it. But because you have a skeleton hand, it's kind of perfect. But even you can feel the coolness to this blade.
How prodigious are my digits.
You see the blue rune just kind of shimmer on the blade as you kind of cut it through the air. You feel the cold, it has like a little aura of coldness around it. It's like a cool breeze. Like you could use it as the greatest fan ever. But yeah.
Can I rename it Cool Breeze?
Yeah, you can name it whatever you want. It was the Iceblight, but it's yours now.
All right. Cool Breeze.
The summer breeze makes me feel I think that's as much of that as I can sing legally. All right, so yeah, Divot. So you guys attune Thorkus, Divot. You guys kind of go, past the giant spider body, the purple and morphed, transformed spider. You kind of start working your way up that corridor on the east side, back to where you saw the giant stone lungs and eventually a face. You see the beautiful wall of greenery with the red flowers summoned by Tina after purifying that particular creature off of this area within the Malachite Mountains. The mountain saying his name himself. that he was the mountain. Yeah, you guys are kind of walking up, and you feel that the push of the breeze on your faces as you walk up. The air, smells like that of the ancient mountains, Thoricus. You can't help but long a little bit for your exiled homeland, especially after this flash of the Shale Fifth. It's just too much of the old home coming into your mind. Your dreams of bearded women, your love, Lucille. As you kind of walk up this pathway, the breeze helps lighten your spirit as you walk up. You see the green shifting stone once more forms into the two eye-like shapes and the open mouth of the stone. You hear the breath of the mountain. I feel much better. Still troubled, but much better. My head hurts. My head stings. The orb of magic cutting into my spirit. But thank you, friends. Molora, the mountain, thanks you. So you hear his breath, still a little heavy, but not nearly as weighted. Not dying, but just the heavy breath of someone taxed. But yes, you hear he thanks you for what you've done.
Molora, the mountain. Mr. Molora, the mountain.
Yes.
All right. Fantastic. Well, I'm glad we could clear that taint up for you, as promised.
Don't you hate it when your taint is dirty?
You see when he laughs, little pebbles fall out of the mouth.
I don't know what that waterfall is to you, but I did wash my dwarven ass in it. I know that's part of who you are, and so it just needed to happen. Real shit.
You see, he's like, the waterfall. Yes, the root is a mystery even to me. Let us go, dwarf.
And you see he shifts to the ground, and the ground that you're standing on raises up about 6 inches. And then he kind of carries you and Divit back down the hallway. You feel as the stones underneath your feet, kind of like a moving treadmill, walk you back into the chamber. You look down onto the earth and you see the eyes reform on the ground. Now the mouth covered half in moss. The floor talks to you.
Yes, not my river, not part of my body, but the trickle. Can you hear it?
And suddenly, the calm silence in the room. You hear that flowing mist sound kind of start dissipating. And suddenly the waterfall stops. And there's just this purple pond with no new water at its source. It just sits at a balance. You see the little stream of water still spilling down against the shifting stones. The strange roots of the Feywild that had grown at the bases of all the rock begin to curl and twist downward as the Fey energy that they are required to feed upon is drained away from the room. You watch as the pond in the southern corner as well. You watch the last silver shreds of magic fade away, and there's now just the calm, eerie pools of this strange purple water to the north and south.
Oh, yeah.
You see the mouth shifts again.
I wish to repay you, friend of the mountain. Allow me.
And you see one of the walls just shifts into this dope stone throne.
Allow me to rest your weary bones.
And this sweet, like straight out of a dwarven citadel throne. You're like, oh, it's the throne I've always wanted, Thoricus. You see this beautiful dwarven throne just summoned forth out of the wall.
Please take a seat.
Okay. What's gonna happen to me if I sit on that? Is anything something?
You see the ground laughing again.
All right.
And little rocks trickle from the stone mouth that now moves across the floor and back up to the wall next to the throne. So now you see he slides down.
He's like, come along, Stone Reaver. Is it not the perfect throne? Is it not where you would sit? Please, let me repay you.
Oh, you right.
I'm like, that's a dope throne. That looks like that's where you should sit.
Almost putting his ass in that right now. Fuck light activity.
Thoricus, you sit down, and it feels like this the stone, like your favorite gemstone. It's got just the right density where it's got a little cushion, and it still manages to be made out of rock. You sit back and you feel the lineage of the great dwarven kings within you, and suddenly the wall around you just closes. And you're like looking around. You see the face shift, and he looks at you, and he's like, "Do not fear, my friend. I wish to show you my power." And he smiles. And so suddenly you see the stone. You feel this little orb of stone that you're sitting in, this great throne, suddenly starts shifting. You feel like you're shaking. You all just watch as the orb that Thoricus is in disappears, leaving a mask, a stone face on the wall as well that is like, "Fear not, friends. I am simply taking him on a ride." Thoricus, you're shooting through the stone, and suddenly, like, the area in front of you becomes translucent, like a viewing screen. And you're watching as you're cutting through the stone as if it was water. You're just carving through. Suddenly, you break through the earth. You're on the cliff overlooking the city of Emerella. You look down, and at the very end of your vision, you can make out the fragile bones of the dragon Harnax that you slayed. You can see the small city, the forge that you worked in with your lady, the church now rebuilt in its time since you've been there last. You see some strange little idols and set around the bones. If you'll recall, Boxo said they made this tribute to your glorious battle. You also see several tents from Raka now set up in the back part where the windmill is located. So it looks like, Tupoko the hatchet, Hopoko the sack, Ubre the calloused, and the rest of the Burakians have now set up shop in the city. You're like, "Oh, that's super. Whoa!" And suddenly you shoot backwards. You're like carving through the stone, and you can't help but kind of get a little kick out of it. You feel like you're like, oh, you're walking around, you're cradling totally safe as you shoot through this stone, the twisting green stones, the labyrinth, the shifting stones of the Malachite Mountains. You pop out, and you see Boxo. And suddenly he's like looking into the cave, and he's like trying to peek inside. You pop up on the outside of the mountain and dip down, and you see, Jingle with a sack full, or not, I'm sorry, not Jingle, but Bangle with a sack full of Jingle, talking to Boxo scratching his head and looking into the cave. And then you see one of these waves of stone deliver the three goblins. Fuck, Bingle, Jangle, ride in on a wave of earth. You see Boxo ecstatic. He runs up, grabs Fuck by the ears, and plants a huge kiss on his face. You see he clings to him. He pulls him super close to him in a display of affection you've never seen, these supposedly chaotic evil goblins display. He clutches to him, so happy to see him once more. You get sucked through once more, Thoricus. Sorry, you're like riding through the stones, and you feel yourself going up, shooting through the mountain. And suddenly you start seeing the face. He goes, my head, it hurts. And you start coming up, and then you bump into this green dome of magic. And you stop and look up. Suddenly the green orb starts shaking. My head, Thoricus, it aches, it splits, I feel the druids. And you see the mouth of stone kind of freeze. Suddenly the walls around you turn to solid stone. You're kind of half stuck out the top of this mountain as you watch the green orb of magic rip the top mountain peak of the Malachite Mountains off of its base. You're now dangling on what is the now highest peak of the Malachite Mountains as you watch the top 5 miles of this mountain peak tear away. You hear the screaming of the mountain. And that's where we're going to pick it up next time, guys.
No way.
Why you do this?
Oh, man. Yes. Ho, boom. And then D&D was had.
Oh,
1 year.
sorry.
1 freaking year, guys. Oh my
Wow,
goodness.
1 year.
1
Wow.
year. And let me tell you, buds, we're just getting started. There's going to be so much dope stuff coming your way. You are not even ready. Thank you so freaking much for being here with us, guys. Thanks to my wonderful cast. 1 year, guys. None of them, they haven't even called in sick. Like, how do you, nobody's as lucky as me in the entire universe. I love playing D&D with you 5 gorgeous and wonderful people every single week. And we're going to keep on bringing that thunder, babies, every single Tuesday at 8 p.m. We've done it for 1 year. Fuck it. Let's do it for another one. Guys, we got us a little ritual we like to do around here. And sometimes I get it right. And last week I fucked it up bad. But this time, we're going to make sure that we look around, make sure we're not going to light any of our friends, family, or household pets on fire. And for like the fucking 47th or something time, we're going to go lighters out. Thank you for playing D&D with us for a fucking year. We love you guys.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Love you guys.
Ooh!
So what? You can't touch me, 'cause I'm from the internet.